Hello, everybody. So listen, sometimes you find somebody or you'll meet somebody who just jumps right out of that box and right into the fire, and they think this is a great idea, and they do it before anybody else does it, and they win. And these are my people. I love it. So today in this video, we're going to be talking to Miss Karla James. This gal's from a small town in Alberta, and that does not stop her. She is doing amazing, ridiculous things. You absolutely need to watch this video. Right now, it's not about finding better way to do things. It's about finding a newer way to do things. We do not need better solutions. We need new solutions. So you're not going to want to miss this interview with Karla as she tells you how she was managing to do $13,000 in an afternoon during shutdown, not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 times. This is this girl's new reality, and you want to hear her tell you about it. So I look forward. You need to pop in and check out what she's got to say. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit notifications, because all the stuff that we're going to be talking about on this channel are going to be new ways to do old things, because we can win at this game, and we're going to talk an awful lot about that on here. So we'll catch you on the other side. Have a great night. Enjoy the video. Hello, everybody on my Facebook people. So I am just absolutely super stoked to be able to have this final interview of the week with Miss Karla James. So I'm really glad that you could join us here. So Karla, listen, tell us a little bit about your life since COVID hit you a year ago.
Oh, well, I don't even know where to begin. Well, we had just moved to our salon. We had tripled our space. I had hired a couple new girls. I was really excited to start it, and we were here for 2 months, and boom, we're shut down. So of course, that puts you in full panic mode, because you're like, what am I going to do? Everything just upped in rent, and all the renovations we did, everything. So we took curbside super serious. We were doing deliveries. We were in here every day doing videos and tutorials. And anyway, so we had to completely change I had to completely change how I ran my business. 100% 180, how I did things, how my girls did things. We had
That's
to
hard.
change.
That's hard to do.
It is hard.
Get to change your entire model, because I've known you for a while, and I know that was a big change, that you had really grown over the years and had your own set of how you do things. We're all like that. To all of a sudden
just a total whirlwind. And how are we going to stay open? How are we going to do this? Trying to find the silver lining in things. If COVID hadn't happened, a lot of the things that we do now wouldn't be in place. So
there's no way.
On that side of things, we have really expanded our horizons, and we've done things differently, and we've really connected as a team, and we've really connected with our community and with our clients. And realistically, we've done a lot better than I thought we could have. It's insane how much we've grown. It's crazy the community support we have. I can't say enough. As much as COVID has been, hard, it just forces us every time. We're forced to do something different, forced to step out of the box. And it's been working well. I don't sleep, but
Well, that's been not just a huge conversation, though, how much COVID has really changed things, both in consumer perspective and how you need to do things. And what it does is it's just really sped everything up a lot.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, a stylist who is predominantly, usually you become a business owner because you've been such a successful stylist, and you just get super busy and you think, hey, this is nothing to this. But we're not always necessarily really digital people. And even just as a people, if you don't mind me stereotyping us all, we're creatives. And so it's very difficult to all of a sudden have to embrace all these things. Let me ask you something. Before COVID, I think there were many, many blessings in the pandemic. I just think it really helped, and it really refocused people a lot. On the things that matter and the way that you do things. But before COVID had hit, what was your social game like? Was it were you like a regular poster on Instagram, or sporadic, or community?
No, we were pretty sporadic. We tried I tried to get my like younger girls to like help me out to do it. And I mean, we would post hair pictures and whatnot, but
Sure.
I mean, we weren't big on it. We didn't have our groups. We didn't do a lot on there, to be honest. And
Not really using it as a business tool. You just kind
oh,
of were
absolutely
clicking
not.
around like the next guy, right?
No, it
You
was
know,
out
because
there.
I know that you really focused your social. Well, you had to. You know what I mean? Like when your doors are closed, like when they closed you down in March completely. I know that's when, well, I'm a big groupie, and of course, I started my group at the same time just to talk to my people and say,
Yeah.
hey, it's okay. It will be good. It'll be fine, people, and
Yeah.
just kind of talking to people. And I noticed through mine just how much that connection really spun into business that I wasn't really looking for. I was just connecting. And I know that in March, when you first, somewhere in there where you first started doing your group.
Created our group. Yeah. Yeah. You had said like, try this group out. And I'm like, okay, why
Oh,
not?
well, you took it to a whole new flipping level. And one of the things I often call you my unicorn, and one of the things that I really admire about you and that inspires me so much about you is your willingness to just jump in. Do you know, you're like, okay, that sounds fine, let's do it, without there being a model before you. Do you know, like, I know when we are talking groups, I'm going, I think this group thing's a pretty good idea. And you're like, oh, okay, let's do that. And by the time I got to the next town, there was like 500 people in your group.
Yeah. It blew up a
Crazy.
little bit. I mean, we did a little contest and like that does help, right?
Well, you worked it.
Yeah, of course, obviously.
Yeah.
So yeah, the group thing was great. I mean, and now people go on to our members page, and that's generally where we post, is on our members, or not our members page, on our Beyond Beauty hair group. We mostly post on there, and we do have another group now for just our members, so they get special stuff on their group set.
I think that's excellent. And I think taking, we're going to talk about that in a few minutes, of taking memberships and subscriptions into the year 2022, some of those differences that you have to kind of do. But what I notice about you now, though, is you weren't doing much social before. You became you really nailed it down. And just watch, if you ever spin back to when you first started your group and how you kind of even evolved it, your own self. But now I notice you're very, very active on Instagram in a very consistent way too. And so there's been this rhythm that's kind of emerged from you of this constant connection. And
absolutely. Well, when you can't connect with people like we used to be able to, I mean, now, and you don't see people out as much, you have to. And I think it gives people, it's just nice for people to see your face, and especially like our clients that maybe can't come in all the time.
So let me ask you something. Is your salon, there's this real split going on right now. You got the really busy owner who's trying to do everything. And you don't need to, by the way. I know you do. But
I have control problems. I can't help it.
But don't you know, you kind of know, like, this has changed your life, I think. Like, if you couldn't be there for a week, that your business is looking after you.
Yes.
And I don't think you could have said that before the pandemic.
No, I actually had to get surgery, and I had to be off for a month. And
that must have killed you, man.
Aside from, just the panic of not being here and like controlling everything, I knew that it would be fine. I could be off, and the salon will be okay, and it would be handled.
Yeah.
So
see, that's a really uncommon feeling that most owners don't get the luxury of feeling.
Right. I've never even been able to take a day off, or take a vacation with my family.
And you've got the end of the month coming up in your face, and you got your girls to pay, you got the lease, you got the distribute. When you got anyone to pay, it's really tempting. And I see this happening so much right now in the salons that I work with, where they are just behind the chair, just like working their little tail off. Or we've got salons, a ton of them that are dead.
Yes.
Yeah. Where are you sitting in that?
Well, I definitely am behind the chair all the time. I'm a little bit of a workaholic, though. That's my own fault. We are busy. Like, we have not really had much of a slowdown, to be honest. Like, we're busy. Yeah.
I want you to like just embrace this thought for a second. You are the odd duck. Right now I'm talking. I didn't know it was like this until I was talking to Heather Winman yesterday, and she's got a salon in London, Ontario, and she's got, it's beautiful. And she's such a beautiful soul. But their stylists who are established, and of course, she's like a platform artist of like the world, and they're slow. And so when you
Yeah.
look at the difference, I think in your level of connection, and you're probably, let me ask you, are you seeing a lot of new faces?
We are seeing a lot of new faces for sure. I mean, we do have, we've got some new girls in here, and we do see a lot of new faces every
How did
day.
you get them new girls? Were you advertising your face off to get new staff, or did they just kind of come looking for you?
It's kind of funny. We've we've grown pretty big. I get phone calls quite often. I actually have an interview with somebody out of BC tomorrow who wants to
Yeah.
move here just to work at our salon. So that's
You
pretty.
know, that's this is what excites me so much, because when I talk about like what you've done, and we're going to talk right away about the kind of numbers you're doing and the connection
Mhm.
and all this wonderful stuff that is happening in your world right now. But my biggest thing when I'm talking to owners about getting out there in the community and doing the tutorials and doing the give back that you're doing, that's crazy. Do you know, like when you're giving back, and for me, I think when you give and connect, and that people want to be a part of that.
Yeah,
And this, I know there's hairdressers sitting out there going, we don't do nothing like that at our salon, you know?
yeah.
And it's kind of like, I want to work, people want to be a part of something bigger. I really believe
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. And I mean, our team is awesome. Like I have to say, like I couldn't do anything that I've done without having like the support group that I have. Like my team is amazing. I can't say that enough.
Yeah, I want
Uh,
to just intercede there. I'm going to let you
yeah,
carry on, because right now everybody's got this idea that I don't like building teams. I just don't think you can hire team. I think team is by its very nature people who love what you're doing and they
yeah,
come alongside you. And I really noticed that in your salon, that
yeah,
they are alongside you, heading for the same vision. Like
yeah.
you've able to take your vision
Hmm.
and just head for it. And people are like, oh, I don't know, I'm going where she's going. Like
Yes.
that's how you grew your team.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yes, my team is great. I mean, they've embraced the crazy essentially that I'm like, guess what we're doing this week? Like they just are along for the ride. And I mean, they see that it works. I mean, nobody's unhappy as far as I know, anyhow. I mean,
Yeah.
we do a lot of fun things, and I mean, we've really grown together. And like I said, I mean, I really include them in a lot of my decision making as well. I mean, I don't make a decision without talking to them first. I run numbers with them. Like I'm
Yeah.
really open with them, that I don't hide things from them. I'm like, this is where we're standing. This is where we need to be. This is what you guys need to do. I've always done that. I'm like, I want to introduce this. What do you guys think? Like I've always,
Yeah.
when I say team, like I even hate using the word boss. Like, I mean, I am their boss, but I don't want
Leader,
to be
you're
their boss.
their
I'm
leader.
their leader.
They
And that's
look
just
to
it.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, so
And you know what? I think that taking their well-being into consideration, they know that you're for them.
absolutely. Yeah. I
You
mean,
know, you can't
absolutely.
go forward if you think someone's going to stick a knife in your back. And I don't think,
Absolutely. Oh yeah.
and I don't think any of your team. I think you're one of the few salons I see that has true team, that
Yeah.
see where you're going. When you have somebody from British Columbia who's like, I want to move out there. I'm going to live because I want to work for you. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, that's great. I want to jump in right away here, and I want to talk about some of the unicorn weirdness that you've done here, and really share some numbers, because
Okay.
you are very open, and I
Yeah.
appreciate that about you. I mean, when you let me even post this girl, by the way, y'all did $50,000 in 11 months in retail. And
Actually, Heather, you're wrong about that.
huh?
You're wrong about that. I wanted to tell you that that's not the right number.
Oh, what is the right number?
So the retail to date, so from January till today, is 132,000.
Shut up. Oh, shut up. You can't do that to me, because everybody
I'm
already
sorry. I saw it wrote there, and I was like, well, I
they,
should
they don't
correct.
even they don't even believe me when I say 50. I know we were just figuring it out that day. So you did $132,000.
$132,000 up to date to today. Yeah, from January 1st till today. Yeah.
I want to cry.
I want it bigger.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Your soul inspires me. I come, like for me to come in there and just say, hey, let's, because we were brainstorming. I'm saying, hey, you took everything and just put that little special. I mean, stop it, and I've learned more from you than you probably ever have learned from me. And
Oh, I don't know about that.
well, you know what? It's been pretty symbiotic, let me just say, because when I come out with a hair braid, I'm like, so Karla, honey, what do you think about this? You're like, oh, let's do that. And,
Yeah.
and you just jump right in. And I don't know. I really admire that. You don't see that a whole lot. 132.
Yeah. 132. I know. I wanted to check it. I was like, I don't think that number is right. I got to look at that. And so, yeah, that's where we're
Okay, so how did that balance against your service? Because now everybody thinks you have a salon with 18 stylists.
I don't. So our service up to date are 280.
280 and 135 in.
Yeah. So we're sitting at about, I think it's like a 40%.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. So you just did another event. I know your very first event. I just remember taking the phone call and it was just like, okay, because you know what it's like. It was like the first time and I'm like, oh, this is totally going to work. Let's do this, do this. This is totally going to work. And so I'm expecting to hear the check back the next day and go, yeah, we did a great day, whatever. Your first day, the first time you did it was a year ago.
Yes, we did our first Christmas in September last year. And it went really well. We decided to do time slotted shopping because of COVID. Obviously, we wanted people to feel safe. To be totally honest, I'll never go back to running an event without having that. But that being said, that first one, I believe we did 13,000 that day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you did time slotted events. You did it for an afternoon. And I just did a 12 days of Christmas. Mm-hmm. And I kind of just grabbed randoms. Because you had a lot you had going on, like the before and the after. Yeah. And I just kind of grabbed some of the random things that you did. Because for me, running the actual promotion itself, it's easy to say, hey, buy 4, get 1 free.
Right.
But if you cannot translate that into your community, and I know that you really have so effectively used your group with things like flash sales and
yes, things like that. Well, we do like this last one we had because now we've introduced memberships to the salon. We just ran our Christmas in September a few weeks ago, and we did a members night first. So the Friday night was members night, and then the Saturday was for everybody else. And we did swag bags, and of course treated our members like gold. And so that I noticed big time that the memberships, it did help with building it anyways. Like it did help getting people
what's new,
and then they got like better deals, right? So it was a nice way to not only encourage people to buy a membership, but they also it was a good way to give them something extra and special.
Yeah. And then you did your major event like the next day. So your total for the 2 days, then how much did you do in retail on those?
For this last one we did 16,000. Now I was expecting more because that was just when everything changed and we got cut down to 1/3 capacity. So we ended up having to cut down. And so we had done it in groups of 10. So we had women book in groups of 10, and then they would get a swag bag when they came through the door. We had 3 of our groups we ended up having like 70 people not come because they got sick. And with all of the things that were going on. So we ended up having 1/3 of the people that we were originally going to have. So my thought is that I had that other people there, I tell you, I'd hit my
right.
goal.
Well, it's really funny because, for you to say, well, I was really wanting to do 25, how absurd that sounds, right? Like
I do. You know what? You sound like my girls now. And I told them, I'm like, it's not absurd. I have the capability of doing it. So this is my next goal. So we're, our Red Thursday event's coming in a couple weeks. And I got easy. I got this.
Well, I firmly believe once you go through the ceiling, you can't put the glass back together. And so I think to have an expectation, it's like, hopefully we'll do 25. And of course, everyone's looking at you like, you do know that's crazy, right? But when you've done it 3 times now, you always want to be setting that higher goal. So that'd be 2.
Yeah. I mean, anything is good. I mean, any kind of a successful event is good. I mean, and setting those high goals. I mean, the girls are like, are we fired if we don't hit this goal? And I'm like, maybe.
Well, and on that note, I don't know, like you stopped paying commissions because, what we discussed, like, it's not a very good incentive and it's not a great reward. Do you know, like for the amount that girls, but what did you do for them instead?
Okay, so we have, so last year we stopped doing the commission, and obviously I sat the team down and I said, girls, I'd really like to bank this money that we would be putting aside, that, that $50 or whatever you do in retail. I'd really like to bank that and to do some more team building things. So like, we'll put that money away and we're going to do big things. If everybody hits this goal, we'll do a trip. So everybody did amazing. And a couple weeks ago, I took all the girls to Vegas for 5 days and they went and all expenses paid trip. And we went 2 shows, and we had cabanas, and we stayed in the penthouse, and
I want to come and work for you.
I know, right? And everybody had such a blast, and everybody loves it. I mean, everyone is like super stoked about doing it, and they want to hit their goals for next year. And we do lots of tracking so that they stay on top of it. And I mean, we do little incentives in the salon too, because I love challenges and I'm super competitive, and I also do the best retail. So I'm like, okay, who can beat me at this? Yeah, beat me. Let's do it. And it's like, well, I can't technically win, but like I win. So it's funny. One of my girls last week, she's like, excuse me. She's like, this month, I'm only $200 underneath you. And I'm like, damn. Okay. I'm like,
you fix that right away, right?
Yeah, I better change that. So it's fun, fun competition. And the girls loved it. And they got a taste of what it was like to go and do something special like that as a team. And you know what? We had a really good time. And yeah, it was awesome. So everybody's great. And I don't know why everyone doesn't do that.
Oh, I don't either. Like
and even our events that we run. So I don't pay the girls to do these events either. These events, this is part of it. Like this is part of you guys getting these trips and doing these things. As you run these events and you don't get paid for them. You come and you donate your time and the amount made from those events, like we're gonna use that commission off of that, and we're gonna put it away. And even our charitable events, it's part of our thing. Like that's part of you guys getting to go and me treating you good at the end. And part of your bonuses is you coming to do these charity things. And
and you know what, I think and that's becoming bigger and bigger and bigger, the give back that you give to the community. It's certainly something that the community begins to recognize. I just did a little mini presentation before you because I'm launching a webinar on the 7th of November, 7th of November, about using tapping into your community and give back and sustainability and building that first, and how building a values-based business, period, where giving back is just part of your culture. Totally. And I know you've done a couple of things to that end.
Well, we do. We decided in January just this January, we decided to start the BB Act, we called it. And so every month, certain products sold, we would take money from that. And it's usually $5 per sale. It goes towards the BB Act for the month. And it's a random act of kindness. So we do it every month. At the end of the month, we do a random act. So sometimes we've given it to the food bank. Sometimes we buy, $300 worth of Tim Hortons coffee for people. We just do these random acts of kindness. And like this month, every bottle of shampoo that sold $5 is going to go towards the local women's shelter. So, I mean, we always have something going on in that sense where we're giving back. This weekend, actually, they do this huge haunted house in town where it runs for 3 days. They make a ton of money for charity, and it's amazing. And they do such a great job. It's even better than like Edmonton and all of that. But we've donated our time to go and do, we are going to work in the house and scare people, but we're also going to do all the special effects makeup, which, I love to do. So,
you blew me away. You should be posting those pictures. That is just like so cool. I couldn't even believe it. I thought you were just like yanking my chain when you're sitting here going, no, I did that. Me.
Yeah, no, I do stuff. Yeah.
You're going to love this new thing. Do you remember that program that I was working called Upsell Your Way to 100K?
Yes.
That program? Okay. So I was thinking I was going to present it in my group this week, and I just got to thinking about it and reading, how I research, all the stats that nobody's interested in but me. Yeah. I changed the program to Give Your Way to 100K. And tell me what you think about this, because I need to find somebody still to do it, because sometimes I'll be like, this would be freaking good now if I could just find someone to do it, right? Imagine this, because we want to give back, and a lot of times in the community, people want to contribute. They just don't know how to. You'll hear about volunteer opportunities. And I was thinking, sort of playing off that, when you pay for the meal for the people behind you and in the line of the takeout, right? And how thrilling we find that in our culture. Like, oh, that's so great. What if you did something like, instead of upselling, and always be pursuing that money? Because I believe that if you pursue value and you pursue helping and you pursue give back, that your business will look after yourself. And because I think people need more reasons to come and see you than discounts or being the cheapest price or being the,
we're not.
whatever. You need better reasons to come and see Beyond Beauty, right? So what if you did this forward thing where you upsold a haircut? So you're like, you get a haircut and $20, I'm still working out the details, goes towards the seniors. Like you pick charity groups or the connecting with your food bank, or like right now Christmas is coming, so you can still pay your girls. Do you know what I mean? Because girls got to eat. And I think that it's one thing to have them participate in your events, but to still be able to pay them what they're worth. You know,
absolutely.
if you do a $40 haircut, they should be getting 20, right? Or whatever your split is, whatever ish. So what if you could just I could pay for, you said to me, we're doing an upsell program. We're going to give you a free treatment, and your $20, the full $20 is going to be going to, we're going to go in and do the seniors for free, or we're going to take the girls and we're going to do I remember one year, a couple years ago, just down at the church in my local town, I advertised for 4 hairdressers to come alongside me. We were just going to cut anybody in town who needed one. We didn't care, no judgment, whatever. Come on down, bring your kids. We did just free haircuts. And oh my gosh, it felt right too. Do you know what I mean? And people really love that. Anyway, I'm working out the details, but I think
I think we'll have to talk more about that for sure.
For sure. So you've got one more event coming, and you've got one other thing that I wanted to talk about, because you've got an entrepreneurial spirit. And I really believe that as an entrepreneur, there's no such thing as a work-life balance, because you take it around with you anyway. You know, it's always there. It is for me. And if you love what you do, of course, it not so much. But I really think that seeking harmony within your work and getting it all kind of work together, and also building for your future, because now you have a future. You don't have a job. You're past building your job. Yeah. But where the hell was I going with that? Who knows with me, right?
I think you were getting onto BB Colorist.
But yes, thank you. So now you started
I know how it works.
You just So now you started a completely new division with BB Colorist.
Yes.
Talk to me about that.
So BB Colorist Co. is our new at-home color company. So when this idea was kind of brought to me, and I discussed it with the CEO, LJ, I was a little bit...
hold it. Who brought that idea to you?
You did.
Thank you.
Yes, you did. And when LJ contacted me and was wanting to work together and see if we could make this work. So basically, what it is it's at-home hair color kits. It's professional kits paired up with Thrivo Technologies to use their machine, the Omni one, that takes the oxidization process out. Now, at first, when it was brought to me, I was like, well, that might take away from our clients, and I don't know if the girls would be into that. And then ran some numbers with LJ, and the percentage of people that buy their hair, their product and their color from the drugstore, is unreal. And so, we're talking 70%. 70% market. That's insane. And I mean, that's a market that hairdressers have never been able to hit before. We've never been able to compete with that, because we can't give you a tube of color. We can't give you something that's not going to last only a couple hours outside of the tube. So my thought on it was, let's try to hit that market, and not just hit it as in Madison Reed does. Let's hit it in a way where we are community based and we are building a relationship. So when people go on our website, to the BB Colorist website, they go on, they answer a questionnaire, and then they get a consultation with us. So they get to pick their stylist based on our, on our website. They can see who they like, see what work they like. And then they can have a full consultation with one of our stylists, and we build that relationship with them. So we're building this relationship. We're talking to them about their color. We're going to formulate it. It's going to last up to 6 months in this new packaging for them. And so each of our kits contain the color, their developer, and then they've also got discount cards as well. So they get 10% off their next service for when they do want to come into the salon to see us. And they're getting 10% off of a retail sample that we're providing them. So we provide them with little mini Kevin Murphys. And so then they can purchase the retail size of that for 10% off once they've tried it and love it, because we know they will. So it's been really great. We've just started it. We're working on getting some advertising out for it and just getting people used to the idea of it. Yeah. And it has not affected our our turnaround in the salon. Like
No.
the people that want to come get their hair done are going to come get their hair done because they want to see you. They want that pampering treatment.
Yeah.
You know, but on the other side of things, like we do the toning kits as well. Well, we all know as hairdressers, you don't make anything off of a tone. You know, someone comes in and gets their hair toned, you're not really making money off of it. Mm-hmm. So the girls were a little hesitant about this one. But I've said, like, do the toning kits with their service, and then book them for 6 weeks for another tone. You know, you can do these things and you can tell, like tones, we know how long they last. And if you've got a porous blonde, they're not going to last a long time. And they get this treat of doing it at home. And you're going to make more money off of it. So I structured it in a way that when they do that consultation, they're getting paid for that consult with those girls, and they're getting a cut off that retail off of what the kits cost. So the girls are actually making more money off of these kits than they are like on a toning kit than they would on a toner.
Yeah, and you know what? A lot of those services, I was talking to Heather Winman yesterday. You got to meet her because she's actually started out just organically. Do you know what I mean? Kind of doing it. And now she's shipping. She didn't really plan on that, but it's just funny. But she's just been doing, you know, she's just a little bit further up the road and totally different situation than you too, because she's in like London, Ontario, and, you know, you're in Drayton Valley, Alberta.
So the reach is not quite there yet, but you know what? We're working on it. People are talking about it. Like
I believe it will.
Yeah.
Sounds like you have a really solid system too. Do you know where you're kind of sort of, you know, thought it through and
I mean, we have it down to, I mean, we changed the name and we didn't have it under Beyond Beauty. That's why it's BB Colorist Co. Because I mean, at some point it's going to be its own thing, and we're trying to keep it a little bit separate in that sense. And I mean,
it's good. You know, I've got a salon in Red Deer, Copper Lane, and she has a partnership. She's actually made another business called Little Sister. And it's Copper Lane, but they opened it's called Little Sister Clothing, and so they bring in these really cool clothing, but she's got it completely branded in its own pocket like that.
Absolutely,
I talked to a really neat a guy about money. I'm going to be doing a little bit of a program about how your business should be your machine that generates the money. But when it generates the money, it's what do you do with that now? Do you know what I mean? That's your future, is where you invest that and where you put your money next, so that you can then build something that's not reliant on having scissors in your hands.
Yes.
So, it is always super exciting to have a chit chat with you. And I got to tell you, like everybody, Karla's been just a real joy to work with. And as a client, I'm just honored that you are a client of mine. And I need to come out and see you again soon.
You do need to come out here. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. That sounds
so. Is there anything you'd like to say in close? Any advice you'd have for anybody who thinks that that are too trapped up in the reasons why things won't work?
You know, I mean, really stepping out there. I mean, it's either going to work or it's not, and that's kind of the attitude I've always taken to it. Is, I mean, it's not going to hurt to try it. Putting yourself out there and being vulnerable is hard. It is hard. Like my first live I did, the first time I talked to people, it's hard. It's like getting a new client and you don't know how they're going to respond to you. But you just have to put yourself out there, because you never know what's going to work and what's not going to work. Sometimes I totally fail, and it's okay. That happens. It's part of life. I've learned. And that's one thing I've learned is you don't learn unless you make a mistake or unless something doesn't work. And, you know, you just got to trust that at some point it's going to come around, and
I think really look at just keeping your eye though. Keep your eye on the prize and just kind of go for it.
Just keep going.
You did say one thing I did want to touch on here real quick. You know, when you said you grew your group, and then I kind of watched you go into Instagram and you're very consistent and got a good balance there. But you said something to me that I've always believed to be true, and I'm actually finding it my own self in my own digital business. Like here I am back in my group, but you saw all the noise I made on Instagram. Do you know? Because in the end, the community that I build with the people in this group right now in my 2021 Salon Solutions is different than just blasting it out on Instagram, where it seems like somebody's always looking for a deal, or there's always somebody who might be in my space going like this too. Do you know what I mean? And I think in having my group, I really draw to me people that make sense for me. And I think that you had even said that you actually monetize probably better through your group than you do through Instagram.
Yes. Yeah, we do definitely get more of a response through our group than we do Instagram for sure. I mean, I think it just depends too on who's watching and who's interacting. I mean, and if realistically, I mean, the demographic that you want is Facebook demographic.
Right.
Those are the ones that have money and that will come to your salon and that want to be pampered and that love you. So, I mean, those are the ones that aren't necessarily.
And I often wonder if on Instagram, I suspect that that's where if you're running a promotion, it's like, I see too much of this and it kind of drives me, but 20% off our services. This is on sale. And that the Instagram viewer is more likely to now go to the next best price, and to bounce around.
I find that Instagram's a lot of scrolling too, like they're just kind of scrolling through. They're not really, kind of like you get stuck in the vortex and you just kind of go through it.
Yeah. And I think that's true personally too. Like I find when I'm on Facebook, I do tend to read more. Like if I'm going in there, I do read
exactly.
more.
I think it's just a little bit more personal. And I mean, we've had a really good response with our group. I mean, we do well with Instagram as well, but I find that Instagram is more of it is. It's very different.
And it's an attraction. I think it's probably really good for attraction. What I found is I've been going on Instagram Live a lot, and but I still am directing them to my group all the time. Yeah. Because, that's where the community is, right? Out there, you're just kind of saying, hey, join me in my group.
Well, and I mean, it's fun for them too. I mean, one of the girls and I, we do like our morning show or whatever we call it. We do our little coffee show and we, just be goofy and talk to each other. And, sometimes we say deals and stuff like that. But, like, I mean, even that, people are loving it. Like they come in and they're like, oh my God, you guys are so funny. And whatever. And it's like, I love that part of it because I don't, there's a stigma attached to hairdressers, like we're, I don't know if I can say this, but you know what I mean? Like there's always like a stereotype of what we're like. And I mean, I'm real. Like this is what you get. And if I swear, I swear, and I'm goofy. And so's, they know who I am and that it's authentic. And that's what I love about it too.
Yeah, I think that is important. It's like I fall on my face an awful lot on social media, and
who doesn't?
Whatever. What are you going to do?
Real. And and that makes you relatable. And when you're trying to build a clientele or trying to build a group, being relatable is huge. I mean, there's one thing to be good at your job. There's another thing to be personable. Yeah,
for sure. Look at us go. We almost got out of this conversation 5 minutes ago, didn't we?
We almost.
So close. Okay, so I'm going to say goodbye to you now because anything more than 30 minutes and everybody gets really intimidated. It's like, I'm sure you guys are really interested, but I don't have time for you. So thank you very much for coming on. And you know what? I would really like to go live on Instagram. Do you have 10 minutes?
I have 10 minutes.
Okay, it won't be 20 minutes, right?
Well, yeah, I got like 15.
Are you okay? Okay, we're going to get off here then, and let's pop on there right now while we're thinking about it, okay? Hey, see you guys on Facebook, and I shall talk to you guys soon. Bye.